I know it's going to be real hard to top that one, but good golly, we're going to try.
All right.
The letter Z 6 times.
Ooh. Looks like she's finally calmed down.
Mm-hmm. Wait, so she is both in here and out there still?
It's unclear.
Right. Okay. But wait. Before we get too into it, I did want to do one more thing I have. Like, okay, if this is also not what it's purporting to be, like, what other things would that look like? Like, if we toss the idea that magic is somehow hallucinatory or whatever, there's some gaslighting going on. What if it's, like, in the most ridiculous scenario I can think of, what if it's Battler in a Truman Show scenario?
Interesting.
Yeah. Like, I mean, that would explain literally everything.
That really
because
would.
it's just a stage show put on for his benefit, so they can make it as convincing as they need to for this one person.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That could explain all of this otherwise inexplicable stuff. I don't know what value that would have, but, like, it'd work, I guess.
Or counterpoint, Clark it.
What?
Sufficiently advanced technology.
Oh!
It's set in the distant future. It's not 1980 at all.
Right.
That's definitely not the solution. But
wait. I just realized there's one more explanation. It's the worst one.
Yeah.
The worst plot twist that you can ever use.
What?
Remember?
It was all a dream.
Not just okay, it was all a dream is pretty bad. But you know what's worse than it was all a dream? It was all a simulation.
They're the same twist.
It is exactly the same twist, just with a different... The thing about the simulation one is, though, that people try to use that and actually seem like, oh, I've made an interesting point here. It's like, no, you haven't. Just kind of, like, undermined any integrity your story had. Binge.
If this is the Matrix...
It's not, but...
Which one's Morpheus? Is it Beato? No.
If it was the Matrix... Then who led Battler out?
North Virginia.
We're being very unhelpful. Okay, while we're here, what other possible, like, last minute plot twists could explain everything?
That witches are real.
Witches are real. It could go for hard realism at the end, just like, nope, Magic A is Magic A. This is exactly what is happening. And
I am non-ironically staking my bet on magic being for real.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think it certainly seems like there's a good argument for it. But if it is, it's been very inconsistent so far, so. And as Battler has seen, its effects are pretty easy to explain away. So.
Although,
we have yet to be sufficiently convinced that we are in the room with the invisible dragon.
Mm-hmm. Although so far it hasn't been that precise scenario yet, right? It's not like these past couple times something occurred that was really easy to explain away. It was a matter of, I say there's magic. I say there's not.
Mm-hmm.
We can't reconcile that easily. So there you go.
Yeah, okay. What else would be like a last-minute plot twist that could explain everything? And just to be clear, I don't think we believe any of these options. We're just kind of
other than the magic one.
Other than the magic one, we're just trying to get like the likely scenario, like the overused scenarios out of the way in our thinking. I think the only other thing that could happen is that, like, it suddenly turns metafiction at the end. The author puts down their pen and looks at what they've written, and they're like, this is bullshit.
I mean, it's already metafiction.
Well, and you know me. I never
metafiction I didn't like. I guess in terms of plausible things, a twist being that someone amongst the 18 really is engineering a scenario to kill off the others.
Yeah.
That doesn't explain why there's multiple
Right.
loops of it though.
They
So
could
I still think it's magic.
It could be the they're all in purgatory scenario. Like the entire family is in purgatory and has to relive this over and over. And
They
Badler,
deserve it.
Yeah, they do. And Badler is just in a very particular version of this. But yeah, I don't think I really buy any of those theories, but those are like the easy ones. Those are like the ones that you would reach for, given your average sci-fi fantasy film, right? Mm-hmm. Anyway, sorry for that long digression, but I was thinking about it over the week, and I wanted to share my thoughts where I'm at. You want to continue?
I think I read that line.
Oh, well, okay. I guess you can't read it a second time to kind
Yeah.
of read us in, huh? Hideyoshi wiped his own forehead. For a time, Ava seemed to be having a very painful nightmare, but it appeared she'd finally fallen asleep. As promised, he still gripped Ava's hand. He thought it might be time to let go pretty soon, but he faithfully continued to hold on. Every once in a while, his hand would get tired and he would switch between his left and his right. But even so, as promised, he didn't let go of her hand. At that time, there was a heavy knock. Ava had finally been able to fall asleep, so Hideyoshi grimaced for just an instant. Anaki, Hideyoshi-san, sorry, is Rosa there? I got it! It was Rudolph's voice. What could it be? Hideyoshi headed for the door, hiding his footsteps so that he wouldn't wake Eva. It was definitely Rudolph's voice, but just in case, he opened the door without removing the chain.
What is it? Something happened to Rosa-san?
We can't find Rosa or Maria-chan. I thought they might be with you. Wait, actually, speaking of which, hold on. Oh, they're not. Their bodies haven't been found yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I heard her scold Maria-chan in the corridor. They got quiet after that, so I thought they'd gone back to the lobby, but did they?
That idiot. Rudolph clicked his tongue. Other people could be seen in the corridor. Rosa hadn't returned for a while after going out into the corridor, so they begun to worry. Near the front door, Natsuki pointed at the unset chain.
The chain isn't set. They must have gone outside to see that rose after all.
How extraordinarily careless to go out and leave the door unlocked. What a troublesome person. I'm more worried about Rosa-san and Maria-chan than themselves. Right. Hey, brats. Where was this Rosa Maria's? Hey, Jessica gets to have a line!
I'm back. I'm a character in this game.
I don't believe you.
I got spotlighted in the previous arc, so I'm not going to have that many lines this time for some reason.
Oh, that makes sense.
Anyway.
Wait, Jessica, when did you get meta powers?
I'm pretty sure it was in the flower bed, right in the middle of the rose garden.
Setting where taking estrogen gives you, or, no, not just estrogen, taking any kind of HRT gives you, reality powers.
If that's where they are, we should be able to spot them pretty quickly if we go.
Dad, shouldn't we bring them back here as soon as we can? Of course. We'll bring them back and give them a good spanking. I'll dash out there and come back. Lock the door as soon as I go out. Dad, I'll go with you. Don't be stupid. It's obviously Brad's job to watch over the house with Mama. You know, Badler hasn't died as one of the sacrifices yet. He's always lived until the end. Which I guess is kind of convenient, you know? But what's stopping him from being one of the sacrifices?
Badler, I might sacrifice you, but there's no way to know. There's a random chance. But I might sacrifice you, but hey, look, you lived to the end. Aren't you impressed with me?
Oh my god. What? What is it? Did something happen?
Sorry, did I wake you up? It seems Rosa-san took Maria-chan outside. How reckless of her.
Rosa and Maria-chan are outside? In the rose garden?
That's right. Oh, did you hear? Maria-chan was causing a ruckus because she wanted to see this rose.
They mustn't go to the rose garden. Tell Rosa to stop.
There's no telling her to stop now. It looks like they left a while ago. Seriously, how reckless of them.
That's not it. Not the rose garden. There's a witch there, and she's waiting for a sacrifice. Rosa, you mustn't go. Ah! Ava cowered again, holding her head. Her complexion looked very bad.
What is it? Did the fever make you dream something bad?
It's a dream. Yes. And the word wrote in the rose garden, the witch doing that to Marisa and Rosa-chan. Rosa and Maria-chan. That's right. It's a dream. It must be. So what, is she like astral projecting her witch form or what?
Calm down. I'm here in this room.
I still think you were very much onto something while noticing the people very close to magic who have developed headaches.
Because doing magic is really hard.
Yeah, okay.
And the chain is set. The shutter's closed on the window, and we've even got a gun.
Oh.
Fucking scroll wheel.
Scroll wheel.
How do you use the mouse with the scroll wheel like that?
It's better when it's not in this position.
This room is just like a fort.
Like a closed room?
There's nothing to be afraid of.
Hideyoshi beat his chest, trying to calm her, but Ava's insecure expression didn't change.
Calmly does a...
Are you not soothed by this manly display of beating my chest?
Are you not soothed by the resilience of my pecs?
Let them soothe you. Under the covers, Ava kept praying that the grotesque nightmare she just had was only a dream. In the center of the rose garden, Rudolph identified the corpses of Rosa and Maria. After that, he returned to the guest house, called for help, and carried both of them into the guest house. You can trust Nanjo's examination. The cause of Rosa's death was a stab to the medulla oblongata, at the pointed gate of the fence. It's thought that Maria's death was due to strangling with bare hands. Or due to the devil's proof, we cannot discount a misdiagnosis. See, and that's the thing, is that, like, there's no evidence of supposedly all that magic that was happening.
Mm-hmm.
Despite the fact that there's, like way too much magic happening for what little space it would have had to happen in.
And yet there's no evidence for any regular person going out there and doing it either.
Well, right. I'm not discounting that. I'm just saying that, like, yeah, every time that there's purported to have been magic involved, there's really not been any kind of lasting proof that was how it turned out. You know? I'm trying to think. Actually, that's a good thought. What kind of proof would there have to be for the most reasonable explanation to be, yeah, okay, magic did it? We've had conversations like this before when I was talking about, like, how could you establish to someone that you had sent a message from the future?
Mm-hmm.
But, like, that's a really interesting thought. Like, what kind of proof after the fact would you need to show someone for them to be convinced that, okay, yes, magic happened here?
Depends what you mean by magic, really.
Yeah, well, I guess. But, like, if they're not there to witness it, and they're in a position where they, like, if they're not there to witness it themselves, in which case, supposedly, that's good enough by most standards, like, what could you actually show them that couldn't be explained away?
What could you show? I suppose the question being, what makes it specific to magic, then? In that, what would you need to show me?
Maybe it's better to phrase it as, like, what would you need to show me to prove that something happened beyond, like, what we'd expect?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if by magic I mean, like, whatever their magic they're using in this story, something that could not have happened in any other way. Some indisputable proof of magic.
Well, I think in that case, we'd be barking up the wrong tree, because indisputable proof is the province of mathematics.
Right.
And
okay.
there will always be other explanations that could be given.
Okay, yeah. But that's also a different thing. I shouldn't say indisputable. I should say, what could they show to make a reasonable person believe that no, because that's not even the same thing.
See, what is it that we're trying to get at? Because it's not proof, but it's also not what would convince a reasonable person.
Right, because what would convince could be much a lower bar than that. I think it would have to be then what would make it more likely the case than not that magic had happened. I guess you couldn't, because like we said, we can't prove, or if you can, please let us know. But like, what circumstances would have to happen to make it more likely than any other? Fucking hell! It's like 9 o'clock at night,
and the jets are still going.
What the fuck? Jesus Christ! Like, what would you have to show to someone to make them, to put them in a position where it is more likely than not that magic is the explanation?
But then, that in itself is a bit confusing, because how do we judge the likelihood of explanations?
I'm not assuming that we have a way to do that just yet.
What does it mean for?
Like, we can judge. I'm assuming that we have some kind of like faculty for judging likelihood, like we would use for testing something under Occam's razor. We can go down the rabbit hole of like, okay, how do you determine what's more probable? But that's like that's a whole nother different philosophical discussion.
I guess for me, the main thing is just figuring out what it is specifically that we're asking to demonstrate, because a lot of them have answers or don't, but it's not clear that any of them track exactly what we're trying to say here.
That's true.
And it's not clear that they track how we would generally reason about events and their explanations either, which would largely be either based on how they generally hang together with other things we know, or the explanatory power of theories based on what they might predict and how it lines up with reality.
Yeah. Beto sure has an uphill battle, huh?
I don't know.
Anyway, what you gonna say in red?
I will say it in red. Rosa and Maria died. The causes of death were as Nanjo diagnosed. She wasn't eaten by a spider, nor was she crushed by a mountain of cake. Don't worry.
What is it with apologetic Beto face? Look at that. Yeah.
Do we have now that they've been discovered, different stuff in the thing?
Oh, hey, Ava Beatrice. Avatrice. We do! Rosa died in the rose garden with her medulla oblongata pierced by the spear-shaped part of the fence. Maria's death hadn't been a clear homicide. May have been possible to suspect an accidental death in Rosa's case. Her corpse was found in the rose garden. The cause of her death was strangling, probably by bare hands. Circumstantial evidence makes it reasonable to assume that she was killed after Rosa. That's something that hasn't been said.
That's interesting, because that's the opposite of what we thought we saw.
Where Maria was killed first and then Rosa.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what happened in the last chapter. Interesting. Then her blood became the ink for the witch's oath. What does that mean? Oh, also look at the... Ugh. Dislike. Unsubscribe. Does that mean she wasn't a sacrifice for... This woman was the human sacrifice for the birth of the new witch. The human sacrifice.
Oh!
None of the other deaths are listed as being...
All of them had reasons for the room that they were found in.
Oh, that's cool.
And we didn't look at it, so we didn't see.
Yeah, we got to be better about that.
He gets the VIP room for his many years of service.
Yep. But this woman was the human sacrifice. That seems to imply that there's only one sacrifice necessary. And if that's the...
It doesn't say anything about the ceremony in Beatrice.
Either way, that's new information.
Maybe it's just a thing that's written.
This woman was the human sacrifice for the birth of the new witch. Huh. I don't know, I think there's something to it. So you argue that... So, you argue that even though you toyed with their death so much, it's all fine because the corpse is neat and clean? I definitely won't forgive you. Definitely won't forget all of that brutal treatment you gave Aunt Rosa. So I won't forgive you.
Like I said, that wasn't me. I believe I gave them a much more peaceful death than the way she treated them.
Shut the hell up. I'm still not talking to you.
It kind of sounds like you are, so that's progress, at least.
It was stated that there are no more than 18 people on the island. Now that 8 people are already dead, we can narrow the field of suspects down to 10. One of them probably killed those 2. Or could it also be an accidental death? Like Maria was having a tantrum, and when Aunt Rosa tried to stop her crying, she misjudged how much power she was using and accidentally killed her. Then she was so upset that she slipped and fell, landed on the fence, and, unluckily, died. How was that? There's no need for a witch or magic.
Well, that's not quite true. Actually, Rosa and Maria...
Shut up. Didn't I say I wasn't talking to you? You're an eyesore. Disappear. Monster. Battler said that without rage, but with a horribly cold voice. That strange behavior was something Beato had noticed right off the bat. In a fight, both of them could go at each other without restraint. However, he wouldn't even step into the ring. She could feel that coldness. Beato didn't find that amusing. Have we seen sad Beato face in the... It's just better. She thought about flaring up, but she held back. Maybe even though she was innocent and childish, she had enough sense to realize that she shouldn't pick fights.
Is that so? Then I'll vanish. Ronave, continue for me.
Certainly. Will that be satisfactory, Battler-sama? There are no problems with her proposal. Battler-kun does not want to see Beato's face. Perhaps that will do. Do what you like. If I can live without seeing that monster's face, I don't care about anything else.
Hey, wait a second. You keep saying monster, but isn't that a cruel way to speak of me? Why do you instinctively hate me so much, Battler? Even though none of that was me, even though it was all the work of my disciple.
It's not like I'm only mad about what happened just now. It's been like that from the very beginning.
Hey, Battler, don't misunderstand, okay? Aren't we just a pair of players confronting each other through a game? We look for moves to make things painful for each other, but...
Don't get the wrong idea. I don't hate you because you're my rival in this strange game about whether I accept you as a witch or not. I just can't forgive how senselessly cruel you are.
Well, serial murders are a part of this game. It's probably impossible to avoid a little cruelty.
I'm not just talking about what happened. There was the last time. And the time before that, too. Tearing everyone's stomachs open and stuffing them with sweets. Plowing their faces. What was the point of all that?
That's, well...
When it comes to closed room murders and tricks and alibis, I'm willing to give you a pass. You want to claim that this murder is done by magic? So I'll grudgingly accept that those complicated crimes need to occur. But what exactly is the point of all those grotesque murders?
Well, nothing much.
That's right. They don't mean anything. You're just fooling around by mangling the corpses for fun. That has nothing to do with whether you're a witch, or whether it could or couldn't be done with magic. You're just exploring the depths of cruelty for fun. This isn't about whether you're a witch or anything like that. There are just some things I can't forgive as a human.
What do you mean as a human?
For example, the 6 people for the first twilight of this game. Well, other than Grandfather being burned black, The other corpses were killed in a normal way without any unnecessary shaming of the dead. It wasn't clear whether the weapon was a spear or a gun, but anyway, as far as killing goes, that was acceptable. It was much better than the nonsensical grotesqueness and cruelty from the first Twilight last time, or the time before that. What happened on the first Twilight on the first round?
Everyone's faces were plowed in, so that they were unrecognizable.
Right. In this time, there were 6 closed rooms tied together to make a closed room chain. That was sort of interesting. When we were going back and forth with each other that time, to be perfectly honest, I thought it was just a little bit fun.
You did? Like, on a scale of 1 through 10.
Still not talking to you. I am monologuing. And you are here to witness it. You were frantic to try to make me accept your existence, and I was frantic trying to deny it. We were both frantically doing all we could. May sound weird, but I felt a faint sense of sportsmanship between the two of us. We exist in conflict, but I faintly thought that we might not be completely unable to understand each other's existence. But just now, that feeling was blown away without a trace.
That's what you're misunderstanding. That wasn't me.
That's not it. That's not what I'm talking about. You watched Aunt Rosa being killed horribly over and over. You sneered at it like it was an interesting show. When I saw that, I was deeply disappointed in you. When I realized that your decision to kill them in a slightly better way this time was nothing more than a faint whim, and that nothing had changed in your cruel character, I was deeply disappointed. On the contrary, you were even genuinely enjoying those brutal deaths. You weren't just acting as cruel as you could to bully me. You truly, genuinely enjoy cruelty. Your character lets you enjoy it. You said I'd probably think that Aunt Rosa being brutally killed over and over was fun. You weren't joking. You enjoyed it from the bottom of your heart. You wanted me to sympathize, and said that I'd probably think it was fun. In that instant, I lost respect for you, and I realized the truth. The problem isn't whether you're a witch or not. I won't forgive that cruelty of yours, and I can't understand it. I can't forgive it either. Still, continue this game of whether to accept or deny witches. I won't step down and accept my own defeat. However, these fucking planes are still flying overhead. It's fucking after 9 o'clock. Go the fuck to... Ugh. What gets me is that it's not even like commercial flights. We're like, this is all like just... Ugh. Sorry. However, your pointless cruelty is absolutely unnecessary for that game. So I've decided that I won't accept you as my opponent. Ronavay's 100 times better. He doesn't have the same cruel hobby you do. And even if he does, he doesn't have the awful taste to show it off in front of me. Want to do it again, Benny? See, the thing is, this is the same time that we usually record.
Yeah.
And it's only been over the past couple days where they've started having tons and tons of planes flying overhead at this exact hour. And I'm like, why? Why would you do this to me? Ugh.
I think you'll find that
me specifically.
They didn't. Yeah, I think you'll find that was not a factor.
Well, probably not, but we never know. That's right, you have awful taste. You're heartless and cruel, so you can't understand. That's unpleasant in an opponent, so I don't want to see your face again. This battler went on and on by himself. Beato was shocked into silence for a long time. Maybe she couldn't understand what she was being told, and this was a sign that she was doing all she could in an effort to understand. Big fucking move right there. For a while, she kept switching between angry expressions, frustrated expressions, bold expressions, as though even she herself didn't know what attitude she should take. In the end, she made her face into a candid expression as though she had come to her senses, and shrugged her shoulders as though she was tired.
In that case, do as you like. From now on, I will continue this game through Ronave. You have no complaints as long as I don't show myself, right?
For the time being. But I definitely will not forgive all your cruel actions up until now. And I definitely won't accept you. For that reason as well, I won't back down from this fight you've picked. And I definitely won't lose. That's all there is to it. Beato, no matter how many more excuses you give, his impression will not waver. I have something to talk about later. Until then, stay back.
Indeed. Understood. And I'll vanish until you call.
This is actually hell. Is this what hell is like? Is this... Have we died and we're doomed to do Let's Plays in terrible oral settings for all eternity? What do you think?
I don't know.
Probably. Anyway, great. Can't wait to talk to myself again. This will be great. Looking lonely, Beato turned her back to them and vanished. Battler watched, a slightly displeased expression on his face. He thought his argument had been valid, but for some reason his mood didn't clear up. She's an idiot.
Everyone, I see chapter 3 as everyone gangs up on Beato chapter.
Even the planes are ganging up on her. They're like, oh no, this is bullshit. Hold on, let's fly overhead in the middle of the thing just to make sure. No, that's alright, get it out of your system. This is pure agony. Oh my god. If we didn't, like, have such a, like, if our week wasn't so, like, stretched thin at this point and we didn't have a lot of time to do recordings, I'd probably just re-record this, but unfortunately there's just too much going on this week and this is the only time we've had to sit down and get a session. So, I said sesh-in, not session, just to be clear. So I apologize, but we're making it work best we can. That's true. An idiot and a straightforward... Do you want to take over Virgilia if Beato's not going to be around?
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
That's true. An idiot and a straightforward one.
That idiot watched Aunt Rosa get killed horribly with me, then turned around with a huge smile on her face. She really believed that she could laugh with me at that cruel show. She really believed that I would sympathize with that emotion. Looking at that innocent smile, I just felt horrible. It would have been much better if she said it with her normal bullying face. Damn it. Milady has never had the experience of having a friend. In addition, she just probably never had something spoken to her that strongly. Madam and I are her attendants. No matter what we say, it will not reach her ears. For Milady, this is also... Don't screw with me. I don't remember ever becoming her friend. Whoops. That's true enough. My apologies.
There is one thing I would like to thank you for. Thank you for not backing down from that child's game.
She spoke words of gratitude, but for some reason Battler made a displeased face. Then, as though in self-derision, he chuckled. Now that I've got even witches and demons thanking me, I'm screwed. Let's resume the game. Of course, I don't intend to go easy on you. I wouldn't have it any other way. Unlike Milady, I do not get agitated. Also, you do realize that if I'm going to be here fighting you, that means that there will be a significant decrease in the quantity of snickerdoodle.
Fuck!
I just thought I heard something. I've already made my move. If we suppose that Aunt Rosa is the culprit and died in an accident, I can deny the witch. I don't want to suspect Aunt Rosa, but I think I can bear to accept that premise if it'll beat the hell out of Beato. I will deny it with Rad. Rosa's and Maria's deaths were homicides. Okay, let's start from there. Damn. I'm just not getting fired up. I'm not feeling it anymore, man. Do they have any drugs for people like me? I mean, you'll need to be more specific, but yes is the answer. To almost anything, yes. With Rosa's and Maria's deaths, it was now clear that the culprit was still hiding somewhere, trying to add even more murders to this chain. As he shed tears, Rudolph scolded Rosa's corpse for being reckless several times, but Rosa would never respond to that again. They decided to place the two corpses in one of the guest rooms and to seal it until the police arrived. The second murder, no, the murder of the second Twilight had delivered a heavy blow to everyone, blown away the optimism that some of them had held. The thought that a crime didn't actually occur, and it was all a game or a farce by Kinzo and the servants. Trying to distract themselves from the loss of the people they liked, George and Jessica had spent the whole time since morning talking about every possibility. And they had distracted their hearts by supposing that these murders might actually have all been an act, and that Shannon and Cannon were only pretending to be dead. When the next murder occurred, it destroyed that thought, and they were once again struck by the fact that the person they liked had almost definitely been killed. The tears they thought they'd had died away began to drip down once more, and Battle couldn't think of anything to say to them. You guys want to come up to the metaverse with me real quick? I mean, it probably won't help anything, but it helps to get, like, some perspective on things. And by perspective, I mean literally a different perspective on... It's like astral projection or the thing. It's really unclear how it works. Why are you all... George? Jessica? Why are you... Come back. After that, all the adults checked that all the rooms were safe and locked, just in case. They made certain that the shutters on all of the windows were down and locked. And they confirmed that no one suspicious was hiding anywhere. On top of that, they checked their weapons once again, and checked with each other to make sure that they were mentally prepared, so they wouldn't hesitate to fire off a preemptive shot if they saw the shadow of a mysterious person. Rosa's gun had been found near the scene of the crime. Someone had gone out of their way to leave it there, so everyone suspected that it was some kind of trap, but when Hideyoshi delicately used a fire iron to fire off test shots, it was able to discharge without incident. By the way, this song right here fucking slaps. I think this one is called Dead Angle. It's fucking great. This is one of my favorite songs of the soundtrack. So since the 5 shots loaded into it had discharged without any problems, they reloaded it with bullets and handed it over to the only adult male who wasn't armed, Hideyoshi. However, the fact that it had been able to fire off 5 shots gave rise to a certain paranoia. This short-barrel Winchester could only hold 5 shots. In other words, Rosa hadn't fired even once. And yet, the two had probably been killed by someone with their bare hands. This meant there was a possibility that the crime had been committed by someone whose face they knew. When the first murder occurred, I privately thought of the possibility that it was all an act. My apologies to Dr. Nanjo, but if he had actually been an accomplice, I thought the deaths of all the servants might possibly have been a massive, elaborate act by Father. After all, the closed-room situation they were in couldn't have been created unless you suppose that it was all an act.
We also suspected that. No, I still want to believe that's the case.
My apologies, but that is not so. I'm quite old, and might possibly make a misdiagnosis. However, I would never mistake whether they were alive or dead.
I get it. Don't go out of your way to say it out loud, Dr. Nanjo.
My apologies. They had no way of knowing, but Beato had already used the red to proclaim the deaths of the 6. No, the deaths of all the victims so far in this game. That faint dream that it was all a farce, that the victims were actually alive. I'm sorry to say it, but that's impossible. In that case, it makes more sense to assume it's someone familiar with the mansion. Someone hiding around and carrying out a really well-polished crime. So ever since the typhoon came to this island and sealed it off from the outside world, there's been more than 18 people here. Of course, there was no way for them to know about that either.
Is Beato writing this story?
So, someone in the comments pointed out that each of the chapters has been from a different person's perspective at times. However, it's hard to really... It's hard to tell sometimes because the game will frequently switch point of view voice without indicating it.
Mm-hmm. No, but I don't mean the point of view of the character speaking. I mean, is she writing Umineko when they cry. Are we that meta?
Elaborate. Walk me through this.
What made me think that was if we go up to that chunk of text, like 1 or 2 up from there, they had no way of knowing it, but Beato had already used the red to proclaim the deaths. The faint dream that it was all a farce, that's impossible. As though, what if the act of Beato's proclamations is what's causing these events to occur? What if she's is
actually like penning a story?
Yeah.
And like, that would be interesting. And then, oh, actually, hold on. What if she's penning a mystery and Battler is her inner critic, trying to make sure that the mystery she comes up with is foolproof? Maybe.
I don't know.
How about we ask the people in the plane flying overhead?
Hey guys, what do you think was the solution to the epitaph?
Damn it.
Bomb once if yes, bomb twice if no.
Just do it. End it. End my misery now. God. That would be an interesting thought. I don't know how it would work, but like it certainly would be able to explain the magic stuff going on, right? Anyway, of course there was no way for them to know about that either. That claim of Rudolph's has also been denied and read. There are no more than 18 humans on this island. I might have a way to look at it that keeps things consistent, at least a little. Simply put, this person is in hiding somewhere who shouldn't really be on this island right now. And yet there's a likelihood that there was someone Rosa-san knew. Someone she'd let her guard down around.
So, for example, could it be a servant who wasn't on this 2-day shift?
It's hard to be certain about that one. When our servants finish their work and leave the island, it isn't that we punch that ticket or something to make sure. Supposing that a servant on ship from a few days ago only pretended to leave the island and actually stayed here, that would be hard to deny.
I don't think Rosa-san is such a fool. If a servant who wasn't supposed to be here popped up in front of you, who wouldn't be on their guards?
Would Rosa know which servants are meant to be on duty and not? I'm not even sure we should be assuming that it was someone she recognized. Maybe they suddenly attacked Rosa from the darkness and were about to steal her gun. Then Rosa fell, hit her head against the fence, and stopped moving. The guest house was nearby and they wanted to avoid the sound of gunfire, so they killed Maria-chan with their bare hands. There's also that possibility. Still, even if that is the case, would they really intentionally leave Rosa's gun at the scene of the crime? We don't know what the culprit's armed with, but if they got to feel insecure about our guns, was that a perfect chance for them to thin out our supply? Why would they intentionally leave it at the scene of the crime? At first I thought that gun was a trap. That's what chessboard thinking says it should be. By purposely leaving it, they wanted to make one of us touch it. And they must have wanted to make us pull the trigger. I was sure that something dangerous had been done to it to make it explode and cause massive injuries.
But it was actually okay. The culprit probably panicked.
Hey, Hideyoshi with a gun. Who hasn't held a gun yet?
Battler.
Beato. When does Beato get to hold a gun? That's what I want to know. That's gonna be the real
magic
stuff.
Bullet.
I don't think it's magic.
Something particle shoot.
Requiem particle shoot.
I'll bet that right now they're regretting that they missed their chance to steal a gun.
I don't like it. It ticks me off like it's a message from the witch, saying she isn't even scared of guns.
However, in any event, this is truly a fearsome opponent. Even at a glance, they should have been able to tell that Rosa had a gun. To think that they attacked her despite that. The fact that they are unafraid of guns should not be taken lightly.
Indeed. Just Nazi says. Should probably be even more cautious than we have been. This is just for peace of mind, but... At the time we think Rosa-san was attacked outside, where was everyone? Natsuhi and I were here along with Rudolph and Kiryu-san. Can guarantee their alibis.
Ava and I were together. I can guarantee that.
George, Aniki, Jessica, and I were together. When Aunt Rosa yelled at us to return to the second floor, we retraced our steps back to the cousin room, all dejected.
Back then, if we hadn't let Maria go... Saying that isn't gonna change anything.
Dr. Nanjo?
I was reading a book in the room on the second floor. I was by myself, so no one can verify my alibi. But I believe everyone saw me return to the second floor with their children.
Once I say this, it'll never end. But what if you jumped out the window, attacked Rosa, and climbed back up using a rain gutter or something?
That's weird absurd. How can I prefer a pizza that's jumping down from the second story or climbing up with this old bugger?
Let us stop suspecting each other. It's more important that we trust each other, and for the children's sakes as well, defend this place until the very end.
Wow, where was that attitude, like, during Arc 1? Huh? 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 Aunt Nazi? Huh?
They're not letting me hold a gun right at the moment, so I'm not angry yet. As soon as I get my hands on one, though, it's over for all y'all.
You're right. Like Natsuhi-san says. For now, let's stop suspecting each other. You were the one doing the suspecting, dear. And this is not the time, Kyrie. I'm just saying. That's right. We may be useless as far as searching for the culprit is concerned. We can only stay alive until tomorrow, inform the police, and follow their instructions. Because the police will definitely expose who the culprit is. Ah! What was that laugh for? Nothing, just thinking about the police doing so. Oh, right, we're rich. Yeah, they definitely will.
What is it, Ava? Is your body still feeling bad? Mother, what's wrong? Are you okay?
I'm sorry, it looks like my fever is still strong. I'll be fine, so leave me alone. When they looked, they saw Ava staring at the floor, her breathing harsh again.
Someone's gonna die. Someone's gonna die.
You right over there?
Someone's gonna die.
Okay, why do you seem so excited for it? Wow, do you enjoy this kind of cruelty? Do you think this is fun? Do you think this is some kind of game? Huh? Is this some kind of twisted joke? She had been able to act firm for a time due to the urgency of their situation, but it seemed her body wasn't at its best after all.
Yeah, I killed those two. Now we're the only ones who know about the gold. I won't give up even a scrap to the other siblings.
What have you done? There was so much of that gold, right? Giving Rosa and the others a share wouldn't have been a problem at all, right?
It would. That gold's to be passed on only to the head of the Ushironia family, because it as a whole represents no more or less than the honor of the head. To wound that even a tiny bit is definitely not something that I, the new Golden Witch Beatrice, will permit. Yeah.
Do you plan to continue these murders according to the witch's epitaph? Do you actually plan to become a murderer 5 more times?
Yep. If I don't finish that annoying ceremony, it seems my power as a witch won't become complete.
Oh, that's actually really good.
The old one's better, though.
The old one's better, but, like, that's a really good phase. Look at that. Oh, yeah.
This one's got that one had the side-eye energy, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, me. A power of a witch is really awesome. Make all the crazy things we imagine become reality. A power to make dreams more than just dreams. Now that I've learned of this power, I can no longer stop being a witch. If I can finish the ceremony and make my power complete, I'm sure I'll be able to teach you that feeling too. Nah. Yeah.
Stop acting like a fool. Haven't you played at being a witch enough? We found the gold. And we've even been promised by this the position of the successor. I'll probably need to tightrope walk just a bit, but by now that's a dream that will definitely become true. Beyond that, what more could you possibly wish for?
I wanted to become a witch.
I don't give a damn about that dream.
That's right. Because I kept holding on to that dream. I lived at this age forever. When you became an adult, you threw that dream away. No matter how long you wait, the rabbit holding a clock won't visit you. and you won't be able to meet Humpty Dumpty. Of course, you definitely won't be invited to the land of cards. Because you gave up and accepted all that, you became an adult.
And that's 3.5 chapters, so we get to our mandatory Alice in Wonderland reference. Impressive. Impressive. I thought they would have folded before now.
So, you don't want to become a witch or anything like that anymore. You've even forgotten that it truly was your own dream at one point.
Anyway, stop it. I've already got my hands on 2 dreams. The gold and the position of head. That's more than enough. So please, your dream has nothing to do with me. Stand down.
No. Magic's too interesting. Also, those 2 dreams of yours both came true because of my magic. It wouldn't be fair to my dream to come true, too.
I'm grateful for your magic, and I acknowledge that you're a real witch. So just stand down and return to the inside of my heart, and never appear again.
No way. We're both misunderstanding each other, aren't we? That's right, I'm not you anymore. You're Ushurumia Ava, and I'm the Golden Witch Beatrice. So, it's not my responsibility to go back inside your heart. I guess I feel like a butterfly who's broken out of her cocoon, meaning you.
The fever is making my mind cloudy.
My inexperience with magical power is forcing me to support it with your vitality. Until I finish the ceremony and become a full witch, you might have to bear the burden. I'll take that as payment for making 2 of your dreams come true. It's fine, don't worry, okay? For the remaining 5 sacrifices, I'll avoid your family. Let's see,
Wait, I want to see that one. Yeah, it's alright.
Let's see, Rudolph, Kyrie, Kraus, Natsuhi. After that, what about that old geezer Nanjo? Perfect, I'll kill those 5 people. Could you call this a murder announcement revealed only to you?
Ava finally crouched down. Hideyoshi rushed up to her and lent her his shoulder.
Are you okay?
Lost a wolf.
Let's take it easy and rest.
Are you alright? Dr. Nanjo, please take a look at Ava. When Nanjo and George tried to approach, Ava made a gesture to stop them. Thank you, I'm fine, Dr. Nanjo. I'm taking medicine. I apologize for saying this during such an extreme situation. But let me rest a little longer.
Mom, I'll lend a hand too.
Thank you, but I'll be fine as long as your father watches over me. Go back to the 2nd-story cousin room, and don't come out no matter what. Understood? No matter what happens, you must not leave the guest house. Outside, that witch will...
Don't talk anymore. Sorry, everyone, but I'll be watching over Ava in our room. Tell us if something happens.
Hideyoshi and Ava retreated from the lobby. However, Ava wasn't the only one who wasn't feeling good. They hadn't gotten a wink of sleep since the previous night and had been oppressed by tension since that morning. They were mustering their energy to protect their families, but if they relaxed even a little, surely everyone would be down and out.
Everything has gone as planned until now, but from here on out, it'll become difficult, you see?
Difficult? Meaning what?
Indeed. Normally, as the ceremony progresses and the victims increase in number, they begin to tighten their guard, and in most cases, they hole up in one place and stop moving. That is extremely inconvenient for us.
You keep saying us. You're not part of this anymore. Go vibe or whatever it is that you do. Why are you talking to me and only me all of a sudden?
I'm part of whatever I want to be part of. Gosh.
It just feels like you're really trying to latch onto a friendship that I really don't really kind of want here. Like, I'm appreciative, don't get me wrong. But, like, we're acquaintances. At most.
I gave you my name.
Yeah. And what? You saying that we witches are inferior to a bunch of humans in a group?
Witches are never inferior to humans. However, perhaps you could say that times change, and that humans have gotten their hands on a poison. This wasn't a problem long ago when people believed in witches, but just like that annoying battler, people in... Battler?
Oh, you mean that one random person up in the cousin room?
Yeah.
He didn't seem that difficult to me.
Well,
Why is he special?
teach the controversy.
Okay.
Anyway, people in the current era deny magic on a fundamental level.
I mean, he didn't seem like him. I wasn't planning on killing him, but I could. I could kill him instead of Dr. Donjo.
Better not.
Okay. You're not going to explain to me why, though.
Not at all.
Okay.
In other words, their existence itself is anti-magical. As a result, at some point, they grew to possess a toxin inside their bodies that denies magic.
This sounds like midichlorian bullshit.
How did you know what they're called?
In other words, you're saying the more humans there are, the stronger that magic-resisting toxin gets, and the greater that the disadvantage is for us witches?
The combined amount of power in their hearts that denies magic. In other words, their magic resistance power becomes the denominator in the equation of your magic's power, which is y equals mx plus b, actually.
The equation for a slope of a line?
Yeah, I know, right?
That's just a regular line.
Yeah. I know, you wouldn't think, but...
Wow, okay then.
Understand? Is that a bit too difficult for you?
You're joking. Actually, I understand it easily. In other words, you're saying the more people there are who don't believe in magic, and the stronger their will is, the more effects of our magic are divided. Yeah, if it's so formulaic, I'll have to rethink my method of attack.
So now we have an explanation for why no one, or why, especially Battler, would never fucking witness it. Why it's always happening somewhere else.
I mean, if we're to believe Beato at face value here. Which...
But we can now expect that that's how it's going to be, at least for now.
Fundamentally, magic possesses a vast power. It can even make rain of fire fall from the heavens or divide a sea. Reviving lost life isn't impossible either. However, that power is extremely weak against the toxin that rejects it. And that toxin started piling up in humans since the time they forgot to respect things sacred. Till finally this earth was covered with enough toxin that the miracles of magic could not be displayed. Are we really to take this at face value?
It's Umineko. We don't take anything at face value.
True. Thus, witches from across the world were chased from their dwellings. God, that is such a strong smell.
What is?
The whatever the fuck that thing is. No, why would you breathe more? So, for whatever reason, we have a can of something called Mountain Dew Rise Energy. Caffeine equal to approximately 2 cups of coffee.
5% juice.
Yeah, and it's like sweeter than cough syrup.
It tastes like cough syrup, but with extra sugar.
It's
really bad.
Oh god. And yet the two of us have been splitting this can. Ugh, I don't know. Yuck. You want another sip?
Sure.
Thus, witches from across the world were chased from their dwellings. They've been forced to choose to throw away their magic and live as humans, or else live in hiding in remote areas where the toxin of humans didn't reach.
Remote areas like Rokkenjima. Oh. Every time!
In that sense, Rokkenjima, with its population of only a few dozen humans, was extremely favorable for witches. And even more favorable was the existence of the ghost story about the witch who lived in the Rokkenjima forest. In other words, by permeating the island with the fear of that a witch might exist, the magic-resisting toxin from the humans was weakened. A small population, and room for them to acknowledge magical beings. In other words, minds that were only weakly anti-magical. Only by existing in the valley where those two converged could a witch live in modern times. Really? I hear there's a bunch of them that congregate on, like, Sunnydale.
I see. So using this formula, we can arrive at several rules for how a witch can use her power efficiently. The first is presentation. Create a murder scene that couldn't conceivably have been done by humans. Decorate it in a cult way, make it look very much like a witch exists, and permeate people with fear to make them believe that witches exist. As a result, the anti-magic power and the denominator for magical power will be decreased. I see. So this is why the creepy magic circles of the first Twilight were created?
That's right, exactly.
The gaudy scenes for the first Twilight in each game are all for that reason. Totally. It's definitely not as though I like being cruel or am doing it for fun.
In that case, predecessor Sama, you failed this time around. You killed them in a very plain way. It doesn't look like anything more than a simple mystery. I heard about last time and the time before that from Ranave. You should have damaged the corpses more grotesquely like you did then, making it look more like fantasy and instilling fear in those people.
Well, about that, I thought it wouldn't be artful to do that every time, you see? Don't think too deeply on it, it's just a whim.
Uh-huh. Why do you always say that?
Actually, it really had been her whim. After what Battler had said to her, she couldn't say it out loud anymore. But she really had decided her methods of killing based on mere whims. No, would it be better to say that she had half-heartedly let Ronave decide? After all, she left the closed rooms of this game's first Twilight to him. She did! She just said, yeah, go do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But if she'd had a cruel idea, then she would surely have explored the limits of atrocity even worse than in the previous game. Oh, that face! one more time. One more time.
Old one's just better.
Oh, old image is better, but that's still really good. Got the little like the little cat grin.
You told me to show some restraint when deciding Rose's and Maria's deaths too, but that wasn't a course of action beneficial to us witches either, was it? In actuality, by now, none of them believe one bit that a witch actually exists. They're totally sure that it's a mystery, not a fantasy. This turn of events is a failure from a witch perspective. For some reason, you keep doing things in a kind of lukewarm way, Predecessor Sama. More like half-baked to toe. Nailed it. Got him.
Got him.
Bye-bye me. Wait, why did you say got him? You're the one that was got.
Like they say, things you learn when you're young will definitely help you out in the future. This is a test passed on from my predecessor to you. Take it on with respect.
Is that your Waluigi laugh?
Beato tried to laugh heartily, but it was obviously the fake laugh of someone trying to cover something up. And the new witch shrugged with a sigh.
At this stage, it's probably too late to create a scene and reduce the anti-magic power. In that case, there's another move. Getting the humans to split up should work.
Indeed, that is probably the most effective way. The smaller the number of humans, the more the denominator shrinks. As a result, the magical power functions instantaneously. In other words, it all begins from one point: how to destroy this barricade situation and have them split up into smaller groups.
It's not the. It's also not the denominator of magic or whatever. It's how many people you have to convince of what you're trying to present to them. And it's easier to convince one person of something fantastical than it is to try to convince like 6 people all looking at the same thing from different angles, each one of whom could see it from a particular way that, you know, renders the whole smoke and mirrors show meaningless.
However, they are already very cautious. The barricade won't be destroyed easily, right? Both the barricade in Kinzo's study 2 games ago and the barricade in the parlor last time were very stubborn. Furthermore, most of the cunning adults still remain this time. The situation is more difficult than all the ones before it, understand? If you wish, I could give you some special advice.
In a close circle, when the first murder case occurs, the survivors always hold up, gathering together to observe each other and ensure their safety. Funnily enough, not only do mystery authors and murder culprits worry about how to break that situation apart, but so do witches who supposedly exist at the other end of the spectrum. Beato's just Agatha Christie, going through a rough patch. For a while, the new witch poked her cheek with her pointer finger, and after acting as though she was planning something, she spoke.
No, I'm fine. After all, it is a test. I won't borrow your moves.
Really? Still, it will be rather difficult to defeat this barricade, right?
I've already made my move. I'm pretty sure it'll work. And it'll definitely work on someone smart.
Is that so? You really are excellent. I'm pleased to see that my disciple won't be causing me much trouble.
My motto is to study things myself before asking other people. Then, if you will excuse me, I have to wait for my prey to get lured out.
Indeed. Well then, handle it with care.
So the new witch lowered her head, her face blank. She turned into gold butterflies and vanished. Beato didn't look happy at all. She seemed to be lonely because of how little she was being relied on.
Oh, I'm back. Sorry, I just forgot to grab something. I'll be going again now. Bye.
Okay, now I can monologue. Not one of them gives a fig for me. Huh. You witch apprentice, acting so smart. I'll bet she makes some painful mistake and starts crying.
Nope.
Then, without a doubt, she'll finally realize my greatness and beg me to teach her. Until then, I shall watch from on high.
She laughed loudly on the outside, but a laugh no one can hear is completely pointless. Beato gave up and quickly stopped laughing. None chose that time to show himself. I return. Was someone having a pity party in here? It smells like someone was trying to laugh to themselves.
Got him.
Is that... Madam, generally one does not say got him when one is the subject being got. Dude.
Truth is an absolute defense.
Yes, I suppose you're right. Excuse me, milady. The game of the second Twilight with Battler-sama has ended.
I see. Good work. What was the result?
My sincere apologies. I was forced to resign. By saying in red that both deaths were homicides, I made Battler-sama revise his claim of Rosa strangled Maria to death, then died in an accident. But I could not repel his chain of moves, placing Ava as the principal offender.
Wasn't Ava sleeping in her room the whole time as Hideyoshi cared for her?
He put forth the possibility that Hideyoshi was an accomplice, and the two worked together to create an alibi.
He even suspects Hideyoshi? Couldn't you have struck back by saying in red that he was in the guest room at the time of the murder?
I also thought of that, but multiple important pieces might have been taken several moves later. And because this move might be connected to the new Beatrice-sama's strategy, I acted out of respect to her. My apologies.
Strategy, you say? Her mind does seem to be sharp. We can let her do as she pleases. It'll be quite a show to see how far she can go.
Beato's not even she's not even making the moves anymore. Why are you here, Beato? What's even the point? Why is Beato here anymore, huh? I thought you would say that. I see that the uncuteness of your disciple has left you in a bad mood.
That's none of your business.
It can be.
I wonder how that one plans to destroy this barricade going forward. I shall keep a close eye on her. Oh, and how was Battler's mood? How's he doing?
Oh, it appeared as though he had calmed himself down. He did say he couldn't get fired up after all without you as his opponent.
Really?
And then we shared snickerdoodles and he chippered right back up.
Anyway, really, well, that's no surprise. No surprise at all. If I don't return for the fourth Twilight and after, Battler will probably be lonely himself, yeah.
And with that, if you would excuse me, I need to go make some more delicious snickerdoodles for my new best friend, Battler. I must at least liven the discussion between you and Battler-sama, milady.
Indeed. That guy really was munching your cookies, wasn't he? It's no surprise that a boy can eat so much. Make a lot of them.
I will do so. I've created this new tinier box just for you. Certainly. I shall make enough cookies to bury the table.
That sounds great.
So what is Banta's not even the one making the moves anymore? Like, her only point of existence is to, like...
Sulk.
Is to, like... Well, and the point of the game is, like, she can use the red truth, but Ronove can do that, too. She literally doesn't add anything. What's going on? What did you want to talk about? Kyrie called Rudolph out into the corridor. It was obvious that she wanted to talk about something that she did not want the others to hear. Yeah?
I want to go outside.
Really?
Oh, damn, son! How did the barricade get broken?
Really?
I guess we'll have to find out next time
Yeah.
on more Umineko. Sorry again that this episode was a little shorter than the other ones and that we had apparently planes flying overhead in the middle of it.
Jet party.
Yeah. It's been... we have a bunch of things that are going on at our place right now that are taking our attention away for a lot of the week, but we're still going to be here. We're still doing this, and hopefully by the end of the month we should be all set and back ready to go at full speed.
We fucking better be.
We better be, because otherwise I'm going to, like, punch a wall.
McFreaking lose it.
I'm going to freaking lose it.
Smash that like, comment and subscribe.